Well, it's clear there are drugs on the streets of Spokane. And if you're on Facebook, you may be seeing what seems to be a spike in overdoses lately. Spokane Fire says it's already responded to 249 overdose calls this year. That's an average of more than 6 overdose calls a day. Last year, Spokane Fire responded to an average of just over 4 calls a day. Marissa Rio was live with why the actual overdose numbers may be even higher than that.
That's right, Derek. And not only has Spokane Fire seen an increase in those overdose calls, but the Spokane Police Department has as well. I also spoke with a local addiction treatment center, and they too have seen an influx of people struggling with drug abuse. Now, a Spokane Fire official tells me their normal OD calls are found near shelters or in the downtown area in general. Giving Narcan to a patient is something the Spokane Fire Department has been made more accustomed to. As overdose numbers rise, Narcan administration has as well, as this is the typical way firefighters respond to overdose calls. As one fire official looks at the data regarding overdose calls, he realizes there is not only a spike now, but there has been a steady increase over the past few years. So let's look at the numbers. In 2022, fire responded to over 1,100 overdose calls. In 2023, fire responded to 1,600 overdose calls. That is over a 33% increase in calls from 2022 to 2023. And Spokane firefighter Justin DeRuyter says those numbers are probably even higher.
Because the 1,600s is just overdose typed calls. If the call comes in as like a cardiac arrest, it could be because of an overdose, but we're not capturing it as an overdose in that sense, in that scenario.
The Spokane Police Department says while it has also seen an influx in overdose calls, those numbers are typically hard to track.
But a lot of times, these medicines, like something like Narcan, would have just come from medical institutions, police, and fire. Now, the public has access to them, which is great. You have a greater potential to save lives and to help people, but there's no requirement for documentation.
SPD says it also doesn't report overdoses because it's not a crime. With that being said, overdoses in Spokane are likely higher than those numbers that are reflected that Spokane Fire gave us because of like what Lieutenant said. There's Narcan, and now the fire says sometimes those calls are coming in as cardiac arrest when they are in fact ODs. If you or your loved one is struggling with drug abuse, you can find resources on our website at kxly.com. Reporting live in Spokane, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.